It literally looked like a sheet of ice just on my windshield. Because actually last year we did some engine work on my airplane. You know, we're always doing it with air shows and stuff. And there's an oil plug in the crankshaft to plug it up in case you want to take it out for a governor for a constant speed propeller. And we changed the plug because we thought it was leaking. We had changed all the seals up there and everything. It actually ended up leaking, but my dad didn't tap in, my mechanic, didn't tap the plug in tight enough. So I'm flying along up over western Missouri, kind of out in the Washington area where there's a lot of wineries, so it's really hilly and stuff. And all of a sudden mist, and then after mist, it was just like within seconds, a stream, just oil all over the windshield. It literally looked like a sheet of ice just on my windshield. Couldn't see anything. Luckily, I was familiar with the area, so I was following a road, and I did a complete 180. I still got the FlightAware snapshot, and I could look out about 10 o'clock and see the runway. So I was flying a slip down the highway, down the valley, in case it quit big time to land, because I didn't really know what was going on at the time. I just knew I had a bad oil leak. So came over just slipped over to the runway, and then I had my helmet on, of course. I pulled my visor up, but then I couldn't see, so I popped the canopy, but then all the oil's going on to my visors, doing the same thing it do to the windshield, so I still popped it up a little bit just so I could see about 10 feet, and then all the oil's just misting into my eyes. And I landed and came over. My eyes were all bloodshot and everything. We had oil all over the airplane. We popped the seal back in, and then I went and flew after we cleaned it 2 weeks later. But the funny thing was, I went to an airline trip that day. My dad drove me right to the airport, changed clothes, and went. Bloodshot eyes. I'm like, man, if I get drug tested, they're going to have 1550 in my blood, you know. I come from a competition background as well, but I did that before I got into air shows and everything. There's always kind of this rivalry between air show pilots and competition pilots. And when I was doing competitions, I always wore a fire suit, and I did everything just like I would do it in air shows, right? And people started making fun of me for it and all this. A lot of people fly like this. So the one time I finally didn't want to hear it anymore, I just went out and flew in shorts, and I went out to practice my competition stuff. And coming down short final, base to final, boom. Another oil issue. My main oil line came separated and cut off at right at the back, so I had high pressure oil coming up through the firewall, getting nice hot oil on my wife's white legs, and it landed and got out. And that one is a short story, but basically the moral of that story was don't take the criticism if it's like that. Wear some safety gear, because I have not ever flown without at least the bottom half of my fire suit on.